You're never gonna get anywhere in America waving a swastika banner. That's just a simple fact.
Matt explained to us that they wanted to start patrolling campus to try to protect against crime because Matt was convinced that there was black on white crime occurring at Towson.
I've been spit on, so that was fun.
Everyone can acknowledge the fact that there's definitely a, especially black male crime problem. We think all crime is a problem, but over 90% of all of the cases that we found were black males.
Be the change.
Simply indicating that there is an issue or complaining about there being an issue is not going to induce progress. Action will.
The concept of white student union really makes some people laugh at Towson because most of the students here are white.
How do you feel about a racial war? Because this is what this looks like.
Demanding equality for white people on campus apparently isn't very popular.
He's ignorant and all he wants is attention, and he does it to get attention, and he's winning.
I'd just like to pray to the Lord that we be successful tonight in finding no crime, that there's peace upon Towson and her community, that all of its members are safe, and that united we'll be able to awake to a new dawn of righteousness and of justice. Lord, in your name we pray. Amen.
Look, you white piece of trash, I want you to watch your fucking back because you're gonna be dead before April 25th, I promise you. Hey asshole, fuck you. Why don't you hitch up the wagon and head back to 1865? I've literally got like 50 of these hate messages, so I can do this all day. And it's just on my Facebook. There is something, very special about the European people. That doesn't make us better than anyone else, but our culture and customs are unique, and all of that together is what creates identitarianism. It isn't just being white, because there's plenty of communists who are white.
So identitarianism is a positive ideology. We're working towards a concrete goal. We have clear principles. We stand for positive love of our people, but respect for everyone else.
It's the idea that there is something about our worldview, our faith, and our people that all comes together to create an ideology that that wishes to protect our culture in the face of an onslaught of opponents trying to destroy it.
At the beginning of this year, Matt Heimbach started up this white student union, but since they couldn't find an advisor, they're not technically a student group on campus. They're just a group who chooses to associate in the Towson area. And it just so happens that they have several students who go to Towson University. And Matt says that the majority of people who commit crime in the Towson area are black. When I spoke to him for the first story that I did on this, he has never said anything to say that he dislikes a certain demographic or anything like that. So it's really hard to say that I've heard him say anything racist or anything like that because he doesn't say that publicly. Even no one knows if that's actually how he feels because he never says it.
So if you look at a place like Towson, which is traditionally a white institution, although it's now integrated and is now multicultural, what we know is that those groups, like for instance the Black Student Union, existed because there were smaller numbers of African Americans who were institutionally locked out of certain opportunities. That's a totally different model, right? And so the idea that there'd be a separate organization that exists for that purpose really doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, if you talk about Hispanic students, Asian students, and Muslim students, again, these are smaller subsets of the population. And again, we know, and this is something the president of the university even said, that historically, even incidents on this campus of bias have been toward minority groups, not the majority group.
It's very hard to say how many students are involved. I know of Matt, and that's honestly it. We've never come across a student who we know is a student that is part of this group.
Ask if they need any help. If they do, let's call them a cab or get the paramedics, whatever we need. Shane, I know you're our first aid guy on this op, so if there's anyone who's in need of treatment, then you're going to be the guy to provide first responder until the paramedics arrive. So does that sound good to everybody?
We just
want to be able to be proud of our race like anyone else is. I really don't think that's a crime. If I was any other race, I could go out and in the middle of the street and say I'm a proud black woman, I'm a proud Asian woman, I'm a proud Hispanic woman, whatever. But to go out and say that I'm a proud white woman is frowned upon, and I think I should be able to have that same right.
Patty, we've changed all the batteries and the flashlights, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we want to do a second round, we can do that. If not, then I'm sure it's happy hour somewhere. So, well, I think we're going to have a good night.
Matthew's a very upstanding guy. He's got strong conviction. He's very staunch in his beliefs. You know, he's not just a Facebook revolutionary. I mean, he actually gets up off his tail and you know, he's willing to go forward. And
Tell him I'm good looking too.
He's a very good looking guy.
So basically our big thing is just helping the community. It's not about playing Rambo, not about going and tackling some criminal. If we see a crime, we're going to report it, but at the very least we can be eyes and ears for those who are being stepped over in the gutter, you know, part of the Towson community. We can make sure they get home all right. Everybody have your seatbelts on?
Anytime there is a discussion or debate on race, it's more often than not. I mean, every time that I've noticed, every time that we've always noticed in our experiences in our lives, it's always the left yelling at us and telling us how horrible and how racist we are, instead of opening it up for debate, opening the issue up for honest, logical debate, and you know, based on pure facts.
All right, 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will heal them from heaven and will be merciful to their sins, and I will heal their land.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we've done this before, but I mean, I think that verse really kind of spells it out, that there's no question that the Occident right now is sick, both through our own sins and our neglect of our homeland and of our people. We're called to a higher mission than ourselves or even our families, but to our people and to our nation. So I say we head to West Village, and just start the normal rounds.
I mean, clearly there is not some black crime wave, but it does harken back to how this was talked about in the past. So that's been a mantra that existed even from the time of post-slavery Reconstruction, and was actually used as a method, or at least a justification for lynch mob violence perpetrated amongst blacks.
Especially just being a student here, you can just tell that Towson is a safe campus.
As soon as I leave the state of Maryland, where it's legal, I have my permit from the state of Utah. I can carry my pistol in 32 different states, so I always carry it with me. And that's just not only for my own personal protection, but I mean, you know, I'm trained, I'm a good shot, that if ever I could do something to help save someone from being, you know, robbed or raped, I would want to do my best to be able to try and help protect the innocent.
Well, let's all remember today is the anniversary, the 148th anniversary of Lincoln's assassination. I don't know, maybe like golf clap?
No.
Slow clap. This is a 1980s montage. Slow clap.
A man who received thank you letters and congratulatory letters from Karl Marx himself. Abraham Lincoln will get no applause from him.
The words racial conflict, racial tension, racial discrimination, all of those terms crop up very frequently in language in the United States today because diversity is a problem rather than a strength. It's a source of tension, conflict, and dissension. Now, if diversity were inherently good, inherently valuable, inherently wonderful, things that are inherently good, to enjoy them or to make the most of them, you don't need a consultant. You don't need a consultant to make the most out of good tasting food, beautiful weather, the affection of your friends. Those are inherently good things.
I mean, I would say there's obviously different groups that are more intelligent than the others. I mean, well, I mean, you look in terms of IQ tests that Jews on average generally have the highest IQ, generally about 110. I mean, the Japanese and Southeast Asians generally have an IQ of like 105 to 108. Whites usually come in between 100 and 105, and then Hispanics and blacks are generally lower than that. Oh, well, let's go say hi to the Black Student Union. The White Student Union should be able to converse with our brothers. Hey, guys. Hi. We just wanted to know, because we're the White Student Union, we're actually doing a night patrol. Wanted to invite anybody who wanted to come with us, if you guys are interested. Gotta finish the paper? Okay. Well, just wanted to invite you guys to see if you were interested in coming help my campus a better place, but maybe next time. Rain check, right? All right, have a great day, guys. God bless. So we have the Black Student Development, Latino Student Development, Gay Student Development, Student Success Programs for those who can't make it, and things for women. So one day white people are gonna be on there. We'll be treated equally with every other single group, hopefully. But demanding equality for white people on campus apparently isn't very popular. But, you know, that's okay.
Everyone should have the same rights. I completely agree.
Okay, then join the White Student Union.
They're going about it the wrong way, and maybe they should try a different approach.
Then maybe you could join us then and show us the right way. Advocate for your heritage.
We're going about it the same way the African American Student Union is.
Maybe? No? It's okay.
Thank you.
Everyone knows who I am. So I apologize for getting for being the most recognizable person in the world on this campus, but I've been spit on, so that was fun. That's happened more than once, so you know, it's just part of the game. Where they believe in tolerance, so they won't tolerate me or my opinion or my people. So that's what it is.
Feel like I am trapped and trapping everyone else that way. Like, because that's how it feels to be stifled in a classroom with a person who you know hates your existence. It's one of those things in which it's like, how do you do that? It's like asking Jews to be in classroom with Hitler. You wouldn't do that. Matthew inspired this video of me on YouTube, which has a collection of my tattoo on my back, a picture of me at Harvard University in the bathroom, as well as claims of me, being a gangbanger. I was like, wow, gangbangers go to college now? That's what we do?
But I'm going to show you some interesting pictures I found of Ignacio Evans on Facebook. Check it out. How would you like to walk into a public bathroom and see this guy? Huh? And here's another one. He's got a nice tattoo on the back of his neck. It says loyalty. Loyalty to what? If that doesn't scream gang tattoo, I don't know what does. So let me ask you, out of these two gentlemen, which one would invoke feelings of fear if they were approaching you on a city street?
One day he was coming into the union and I'm sitting outside a BSU meeting, minding my business, and he says, hi. I'm like, oh, let me talk to you, right? And I reach out and I touch him, come here. Why do you do this? He was like, well, I think that this campus is ripe. Why not? Apathy is rampant here. Do whatever you want. When he said that to me, I was like, oh, word, right? Like, oh, okay. And then he leans over to me like we're allies and we go, don't you do whatever you want? Right? Like, don't you, whenever you feel like the administration is wrong, don't you just pull the race card? My turn.
Well, the Black Student Union rallied with members of the community and the Student Government Association against the White Student Union. So they walked through campus singing "We Will Overcome" and pretending that it was like 1950 and like Bull Connor was in charge of Towson University. It was very, it was almost the point of like sad. I didn't get angry, it was ludicrous.
You must ask yourself, how is the world a better place with me in it? We all breathe the same air and bleed the same blood. And when we die, the same ditch gets dug. When you strip life down to terms that are that simplistic, it helps you realize that we all truly are equals. Thank you.
whole lot is going to be better because you're here today. And to know that you have come out to stand publicly for what we all know Towson really is, really makes a difference. I don't know that I have ever in my life been more proud.
Well, I guess what we're seeing is the, the left-wing groups and the so-called diversity groups on campus who are coming together to protest against European American students, advocating for our own best interests and asking for the same racial equality treatment that all these groups get. The banner I saw, it said WSU GTFO and had a swastika crossed out.
What is GTFO?
Get the fuck out. It's not going to stop us from standing up for our European American heritage and the best interests of our people. I think they're having a good time, and I think they're good-spirited folks, but they're just wrong. I simply believe that European Americans should be able to organize and act for our own best interests.
But y'all been doing that.
Really? Have we? Really? Have we?
Europeans been organizing.
No, we're not.
Yes,
tell me,
who wrote the Constitution? It wasn't us.
Okay, question for you. So where in modern day America, where in modern day America is there an organization like the NAACP for white people? Where is the United White Caucus? Really? Elected by the people.
That's Congress and the Senate.
Elected by the
and
people.
Judges and lawyers.
Really?
I don't see us
so
in there.
Black people can't become lawyers and judges?
Not with white people in power.
White people, that's what I'm saying. White people are not allowed to organize.
Why you do organize? You got Boy Scouts.
Really? So black people are allowed to be in the Boy Scouts?
I said black people did not organize Boy Scouts, white people did.
Okay, so because an organization is created by white people.
You just said white people can't organize.
No, white people. White people are not allowed. We're not allowed to.
Klan organize. You doing what they?
That's not advocating for white people.
They did advocate for white people.
No, they're not advocating for white people.
Would you like a band?
I would love a band.
Be the change.
You know, I am trying to be the change. To be able to advocate for the best interests of the white student body.
Not your pocket, man. Let's not talk about white genocide and leave them other genocides alone, all right?
All genocides are horrendous.
White people invented genocide.
Did we now?
Yeah, y'all invented this shit.
Did we?
Yes, you did.
Do you understand how racist that is?
Do you understand that I'm a victim of that shit? I'm a 50s baby. When y'all was sitting there hanging people, we wasn't hanging white people.
Really?
Really?
So, myself, when I was born in 1991.
When you was born in 1991, you was reading bullshit from 1891, and you still practicing the same bullshit.
So you're saying that I'm guilty of the sins potentially of my ancestors?
Yes, you are.
Really?
Unless you make a change, yes, you are. This separatism that you want, this white supremacy or this white.
We never advocated for white supremacy.
You could call it what you want. You repackaging an old deal.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are. You repackaging some
trying to advocate for the best interests of white Americans.
You ever seen Birth of a Nation?
I have seen Birth of a Nation.
You trying to rebirth some bullshit.
Refusal to accept the values of another is the ignorance that keeps us from calling each other brother. So certain customs and cultures lack appreciation, or the shade of a person's skin is enough evaluation. You see, we generalize and victimize because we can't learn to unify, preventing our progression on one people until you decide to treat others as equals, nothing more, nothing less. Object and just action show your respect. Prejudice will not be completely dismissed, but we're closer to making the world coexist.
America as an idea is hardly existent anymore. The original idea is not what it's supposed to be now, what we're living in, the last couple generations that have been around. We're essentially heading towards a dissolution of the United States, but in a sense that could be for the better because that may lead to a white ethno-state, which is ultimately what we want. We want a national, a strong nation state that's well defended, but that's at peace with the rest of the world. The criteria of citizenship would be based, I'm going to say it bluntly, it would be based on race. It would be based on white, absolutely, 100%.
I think that especially the black community will find areas in the South, areas like Detroit, where they can have their own homelands. We don't have to be antagonistic towards them. And if you want to sell yourself and your children down the river of multiculturalism, you can do that. But we deserve the right to exist, deserve the right to defend our culture, and deserve the right to have a future for our children.
White supremacists don't have to be loud. You show up with a hooded robe, I'm scared. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure the people in the hoods would say white pride is good. The difference would be that I think Matthew truly believes that there's a victimization attached to whiteness and how it might disappear in 50 years. I think that's the functional difference. Other than that, I think that Matthew's just politically correct, and they're not.
Chocolate brownie without the walnuts? Or okay, awesome. Then I will get that.
And can I do mozzarella sticks?
We just need to take care of ourselves. So I think that's the key difference. It's all about its respect, and also what I see is the biblical principle of love, where you're supposed to love everyone and treat them as you want to be treated, and that will get us a lot farther, in my mind, than ever yelling racial epithets into a bullhorn. I have a cherry. See, the big bad racists can't be that bad. We eat ice cream just like everybody else. In America, there are plenty of quote-unquote skinhead groups who think that beating up one immigrant is going to advance the cause and is going to help things. I generally think that violence doesn't solve a lot in that sort of manner, but there are times where the Bible justifies force. And when you fight to win.